With the top cut here in Utrecht. Sorry to cut you off there, Ruben. I'm too excited about starting off. And we get a Don from Valeri, couple of Don from Mike, and we're starting off with that Nami. No, that's not. That's Lim.
That's Lim. That's Lim. One cost Lim. That's the perfect opener, I would say. I do think that the yellow kid had a higher seat because he's going first, which is the better curve for Lim. So he probably just wants to take the first going turns from the Lim side. This is something, by the way, that changes the upcoming format. Lim gets a lot better going second, but this format, we are still playing PRBO2 today. Lim wants to go first.
Okay, just a free Don leader swing from the kid there. 8k does get taken by Mike. First life taken here by Valeri and that yellow captain kid. No cards played yet, but they have taken a life. So back over to Mike and Lim. 4 Don available. We are swinging 6k with the leader. And that is just going to be taken by Valeri. And it looks like we have 3 Don. And it's going to be Sabo.
The new one from the pre-release that you could, if you get first or second, depending on the store, I think you can get a package with the winner Luffy, Sabo, and Ace, and this is one of them. And the Sabo is really good because when attacking and you have 3 or more rested characters in total, so himself counts as well, you can draw a card. And the first hit, the 8k swing from Yellow Kid, I don't think the Lim is very sad about it, because Lim is naturally taking the first 2 lives because they want to have more cards in hand to defend their rested bodies later on.
Well, we are countering with an Adio out of this second swing. And, oh, it looks like, unfortunately, Sabo is not lasting very long. He gone. Sorry about that. Never mind, eh?
A very, very good counter card to the 5 cost, especially against the Sanji Pudding. He will need this card if he goes through this top cut. But for now, it was really good into this Lim.
Absolutely. Also, fun fact, those leader cards are drawn by other manga artists. The Sabo is actually, excuse me, Sabo drawn by the artist of the Finding Neverland. There's your little One Piece fact of the day for you. So we do see a swing with Lim, takes a life off of Valeri there. And then we're paying 5. We are paying 5. And it is Jewelry Bonnie, one of the few non-Odyssey cards in the deck.
Good to cycle some cards, get rid of the cards that you won't need this matchup. Seems like he is deciding that it's Sakazuki that he doesn't need.
And gets a blocker on the board as well, which is always fun if you want to stop your opponent taking that life. It can get annoying sometimes.
This is the reason why this Bonnie is so good, being able to get that active Dawn back so you can play it and get to play your leader ability as well and get your Doflamingo active as well with it 1 cost Lim.
Speaking of blockers, we do have the Doflamingo. It's a blocker that if you've got 2 or more rested characters at the end of your turn does restand. There's a lot of if you've got X number of rested characters or whatever in Lim. Can be quite hard to track, but that's why we're here, Ruben. We're going to sort it out for them. But there are a couple of blockers on the board now, so Mike putting up a little bit of a wall here. And now we get the 7 cost secret rare Trafalgar Law coming down from Valeri here. And this one lets you add a life. Well, it needs to be a supernova from your hand, but it still lets you add a life.
Yep, really good. And I think that's what Yellow Kid will start to do. They will just play very big bodies every single turn, try to stay as healthy as possible. And yeah, at a certain point, those big bodies the swings are just too big for Lim to protect their own bodies.
Now, speaking of big swings, we've got Law here. It has been restood with the leader skills. We've got a 9k blocker on Valeri's side of the board. That is going to be able to parry some attacks away. And we just see a 5k leader swing here. And the question is, are we trying to get cards out of hand? Are we trying to bait the blocker use so you can swing with something else in a moment? No, right now, just going to take the life into hand and not worry about it. Does not mind taking another life. And it looks like we are paying 1 here. Oh no, we're paying 9, sorry. It's the 9 cost secret rare Zorro.
Wow, this is a very strong card against Yellow Kid. Yellow Kid almost has no answers to this card, and you already need to play that card. So I can't figure really quick the name of it, but there is a card that you can put the 9 cost Zoro to life from the LIM player. However, if he doesn't have it, this law player is Zoro is very hard to deal with. Slam, I guess Gibson because it's Skits, something like
It is
that.
Slam
but,
Gibson. Slam Gibson
yes.
is one you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Rest 5 Don, and you add a character of a cost of 9 or less to the top or bottom of the life face up. Yeah, Slam Gibson is what we're thinking of. We do see Zeus coming down here, and that's gotten rid of the Bonnie. Yeah, that's Zeus. He's one. You named it as one of the best kind of pound for pound, one of the best cards for its cost in the entire game on stream yesterday. And Zeus coming out, proving you right again. We have seen, okay, we are restanding. So this is the Eustace Captain Kid leader skill. Once again, restanding that law and putting a 9k blocker on the board. And it's going to need it because remember Zoro's skill. When you attack, you can pay 1 to restand. And at any other point, you can pay 2 to restand. So if you're willing to commit free Don, you can have free swings with this 9k Zoro. That can cause some problems. And then we got the free cost Lim coming out. You know, just, well, why not? It's a really good card. It's a searcher, and it can also set active if you've got free rested characters at the end of your turn.
So the Lim player doesn't have a lot of cards in hand because he decided to protect his Zoro, and Zoro is at this point his win condition. Because, yeah, nothing left on the board because of Zeus and the Red Hawk. So I do think it's important that he attacks only twice with Zoro this turn and leave it active. So the only out for the Yellow Kid is Slam Gibson onto this Zoro.
See, that's absurd,
I don't think
though,
he can go for game.
But the idea that we'll only attack twice with the character so that you can leave it active is, I mean, it's absolutely true, and I agree with what you're saying, but it's such a ridiculous statement, like, I'm only going to attack twice with this 9k so that I can leave it active at the end of the turn. Well, right now, we got a 7k swing coming in from the leader Lim, and, you know, you talked about going for life, going for lethal, going for game this turn. If you can get 1 Don off without using the Zoro, that's where you might be going, but we do see that the law is going to block that leader Lim swing. So if you try going for the Zoro 3 times and it doesn't go through the 3rd time, then it is going to be rested going into Valeri's turn. It is going to be vulnerable.
But we do see a lot of counter for Valerie.
You got
so
11k.
Sure if attacking the law, because you're not attacking very big on the law. So it's do you want to take out as many cards as possible from the hand of Valerie, or are you making his leader basically a 9k? That's the question here, because he is attacking law again. So you are asking a lot of cards right now. That's the good part about it.
Yeah, that's quite nice. Of course, the law was rested because of the Lim leader swing, so you could have gone straight into life here, trying to go after the law instead, which I kind of get because law has been a bit of a menace. We've seen time and again, Valeri has been using that leader skill to pop that law to active as a blocker. Right now, however, would need to put a new life down so that you can then turn it face up to activate the leader skill. The leader skill's not on board right now, and it does look like the law is there. Mike got a lot of cards out of Valeri's hand. That's awesome, but did not get through and get rid of the law. But remember the leader skill, you have to turn the top card of your life face up. It is currently already face up, so you're going to need to play a recovery card here to get a life face down so that you can turn it face up and make that law into a blocker. I think that's what Mike's worried about, which is why he was really trying to get the law. Didn't work, though.
Yep. And we do see the Kuma, or Kumachi, if we want to call him like that, from Valerie's side. And yeah, Kuma is able to recover. That card is so good that we got for the yellow players. Being able to recover and gain cost first, and afterwards on KO heal another time. So we will definitely see this Kuma come and play.
Yeah, countering out of a leader swing with Dracula Mihawk there from Mike. The leader swing doesn't come in. Yeah, and that Kuma, one of the absolute best yellow cards we've had in several sets here. The idea that it's a 6 cost that gains a life when you play, and then gains a life when it gets KO'd, you know, it's done properly. You're getting 2 extra life from a 6 cost card, which is absurd. Here comes a big swing from Law, and the life is taken, I believe. Now here comes Akuma, and this is going to do 2 things. Firstly, it's going to recover a life. That's a good thing. But secondly, it means that you will then have a face down life, which will allow you to activate that leader skill.
Oh, Mike being very nice. Don't forget to heal.
Oh, we saw him discard the Kuma and then forget to actually put the life out.
It says at up to 1 card to your life. So it also, if he forgot, it's then it was sadly, well, then he would have lost, I guess. So Mike being very gentle. A 5k swing from Zeus. So he leaves 1 Don up for maybe another Red Hawk in... Well, I don't think we saw it in hand, but yeah, it can always be in life, of course. That might be a 3k counter instead of... well, a brick in hand.
Might be. We do take that final life. Mike is down to 0 life. And now here we go. This is why. After the law, what are we doing?
We did draw Mihawk from the top. We have a lot of swings.
This is good. We're going to need them. There's 3 life left for Valeri. Mike did not manage to get the law off the board last turn, which means it obviously has been re-established as a 9k blocker. That was the last thing that Valeri did there before ending his turn. So before Mike does anything, he's going to need to get through this blocker. Essentially, you need a swing to get through the blocker, 3 swings to get through the life, and then 1 swing to win the game. But we know that Roanoa Zoro can restand twice, and we've got the Mihawk that can restand a character. So we do have swings.
Yes, we have 8 Don left. 3 of those Don needs to go to Zoro. So that means we have 5 left. So it means will swing 2 7s, 3 7s, and 3 9s.
A decent lot of swings. Are we going to be able to get through? Well, there is the LIM swinging first of all. Now we're putting a couple of Don onto the LIM. We're going to be getting a swing here for 7.
Yep. And he's not afraid of any triggers at this point because, yeah, we do know what is in life because of the leader ability of Yellow Kid. However, never say never. There might be a last life Badge. Capone.
Yeah,
and
coming out would be pretty bad.
It happened already on stream, so never say never. And I do think that if I remember the deck list correctly from yesterday, that there are 2 in the deck list from Valerie. Deck lists are open. Players know from each other what's in the deck list if they have options to remove cards from each other. So I do think that, for example, Mike knows that Valerie doesn't play Punk Slam Gibson, so that's why he went to ramp into 9-cost Zoro as soon as possible.
Absolutely. There are 2 beige in the deck, by the way. I did just double check while we had a second there. We're down to 2 life for Valeri. And then are we going to get enough swings to get through? We haven't used Zoro yet. So we are now playing the Mihawk as expected. And that is going to, I believe, restand LIM there. There we go. And then we're going to get another swing with the LIM. We do have a couple of Don on there, so that's a 7k swing. We haven't used Zoro yet. And there's another couple of counters. And obviously, you play the Mihawk with the LIM leader skill. So that means that you're actually paying 3, not 5, which is how you have enough Don left to actually use Zoro the full 3 swings. We see more swings. There's the blocker. And there we see the counter. And it does look like we are going over to Valeri here. Wait. You've all gone very quickly.
He did not get there because of enough counter and the block from the Law.
Yes, we saw that last counter. And we saw the block from Law. And here we see the swing from Kuma, which is going to be countered away by Mike. And then a big swing from Law is not going to be countered away. Mulligan, that's it. You do not get a third chance. Here we go. Game 2 of Top 32. 40 minutes on the clock. And it is the one-cost Lim. That is the perfect starter there for Mike. And of course, Lim gets to restand any character. Well, you kind of only get one. So that's how we've got it active there, going into Valeri's turn.
And Valerie having some choices. We do see, I think, 2 Red Hawks in hand for the yellow kid. So this might still be a very hard game for Mike. If Valerie goes with the same game plan, turn 2, I will remove your 5 cost into turn 3. I will remove your 5 cost into turn 4. I'm gonna play Law or Big Kid. So might still be a very hard game for the Lim player.
That big blocker caused issues. That blocker Law, or the Law that became a blocker, was a big issue in that last game. We did see a Luffy searching out an X-Drake. Now we see your Don Quixote do Flamingo coming down. That is the first 5 cost. It is a blocker, but it's also worth pointing out that we do have that Red Hawk, so Valeri does have answers if he wants to start removing some of these characters. And like you say, buy a bit of time for when those bigger ones come down. And although we saw Law last time, that kid is an 8 cost, so it is within the leader skill to make it active as a big bad 9k blocker. There's multiple options for 9k blockers is what I'm saying. Here's a swing and then just a block with Doflamingo. You never need to do anything.
Decides not to use the Red Hawk, just a 5 and a 6k swing. So he's giving Lim a little bit time.
Absolutely, giving him a bit of time to kind of establish here. That Doflamingo blocker remains on the board. And now, of course, and that's the thing, because of Lim's leader skill, you can basically play a 5 cost for free Dom. So that means that you are getting these characters out just earlier than you normally would. We see Lim attacking into Luffy. Valeri lets it through. Now we see the Doflamingo swinging, and that is taken. But remember, it's going to be able to restand at the end of your turn. So you're going to be able to attack with Doflamingo now and block on your opponent's turn. And then we get that lovely special rare of the 3-cost Lim, which is a searcher and goes and searches out a Newgate, which Valeri needs a quick reminder of. And I don't blame him, because not everyone plays against Lim all the time.
And Newgate, no matter what the card does, it's a good card.
Always a good card. Someone on the design team loves Newgate.
And this is, I think this is the perfect start for Lim. 1 cost Doflamingo, Searcher Lim into an L. I do think this is the best possible start, and activating all of them thanks to their abilities. So this is the kind of game that gets really hard for yellow kids. I am still surprised that we didn't Red Hawk on turn 2 to do a little bit of control damage, because we didn't have anything to do. So that, and it's 4 Don, right? Red Hawk, or otherwise.
4 Don, so it's the 1 cost where you rest 3 Don to play it. So yeah, 4 Don.
Yeah, so it is 4 Don. So yes,
we do see a 7k leader swing here that does go through. Then we see that Basil Hawkins coming out. Hawkins is not a big bad blocker like a Law or a Kid, but what it is a blocker where if you go through it, you lose a life. So we saw Hawkins a lot in Valeri's stream game yesterday. In game 1 here, was choosing to use a bigger blocker like Law because of how much defense it could provide against this Odyssey deck. But here we're up to Hawkins, and now we see a swing with that Lim, the Searcher Lim. Are we going to block it? No, we are going to counter it with a Captain Capone Beige. There's still some
lot of swings.
Yes.
And also Lim, because of the ramp, they are ahead on the curve as well. Because I do think Lim is already at 9 Don. Imagine now again a 9 cost Zoro coming out. That would be very good. We don't have it.
Not there yet. We are just having a swing with the Enel for the time being. Actually, 2 copies of that 9 cost Zoro in the deck. I'm used to seeing it as a one-off tech, But 2 copies in the deck means Mike is putting a bit more love into that card than a lot of Lim players I've seen lately. Now we see a Don coming down onto the Doflamingo, giving another swing. And here we go, 2 more cards. And although these aren't getting through, what they are doing is really whittling down Valeri's hand. Now we get that secret rare Bonnie, which is another blocker on the board to go along with the Doflamingo, but also is giving, a little bit of consistency, letting you draw and then trash. Oh yeah, and then we get a Don as well. Another one of these really good cards for the cost of it. And it looks like we're getting ready here to play another Doflamingo over the 1-cost Lim. So here we have 3 blockers on the board. And if we get to the end of the turn, this is where all of those restand abilities start coming in. And we don't get to restand all of them, but we do get our 2 blocker Doflamingos.
And this is the kind of way that I was talking about before we started the game, why I think Lim is favorite into Yellow Kit. You can just go very, very wide, very, very fast. And yeah, you are at 10 Don. Kit is not even at the 10 Don themselves, even though you went second. Lim can pressure way too much. You are very easily countering this. Yep, here we go. And yeah, we also do see Asura Deadman's Hand in hand for Mike. So even if you block her up, it doesn't matter for the Lim side.
Well, we are blockering up right. Well, we're not blockering up yet. We've just used Law, and then that's going to put an extra life down. Now we do get rid of the Bonnie, and now, in theory, there we go. Now, and we are actually going Basil Hawkins as the blocker here from the Kid Leader skill, basically saying, I'd rather have a small leader that can take one of your life than a big leader to stop you going through. So slightly more aggressive when you put the Basil Hawkins as the blocker here.
Yep, that's a blocker that you will definitely want to use, it seems. So Law is a free block for sure. However, doing the block with Hawkins can put some pressure on your opponent's life. Because the long game, if they go so wide, you're not winning anymore. You are on a clock from the Yellow Kid side.
We're swinging with a Lim here. That Searcher Lim, the free cost 5k, if I remember correctly, Lim. So it's not a big swing. Not going to do much. Any countering will do. You don't need. And we just see a tiny bit of counter in there, just a 1k, and that will do. Could also, of course, block with the Basil Hawkins if you need to, and that would take out the Hawkins, which would then take a life off of Mike. If you feel like it. Oh, here we go. There is a life being taken now. I believe that was a leader swing. Now we see an Anel swing. And just as a side note here, the Doflamingo, being able to swing on your turn and then activate, so you can swing on your turn, block on your opponent's, swing on... that is one of my favorite interactions in One Piece, if you can pull both of them off. We did get a trigger getting a Zoro onto the board here. And now we're going to see another swing. This is with Doflamingo, a 7k swing, going into Valeri, who's down to 1 life, and we're not even done yet because we've got another Dofi that can swing in a second as well. Yes. And this is putting a lot of pressure on.
And we have a Mihawk that can restand as well, but I do think that it's probably game because we don't have any counters in hand, or almost any counters in hand. I do see a 2k, but that's it. Nothing else.
Zero life for the time being. Here's Freedom being put down. There is the Mihawk restanding. Valeri says, look at my hand. Look at the lack of counter in my hand. And Mike is going to even this up at 1 because it's so much more important to get those specific cards in your opening hand. There's the fist bump. We are off. Game 3 of Top 32 here in Utrecht. And Valeri has chosen to go first and does actually have that Luffy 1-cost searcher to start off with.
Checking your hand first, deciding what you want to pick. Do you need some counter? Do you need... Well, sadly, you will put Akuma and Zeus to the bottom of your deck. Both cards are great.
Ideal, if we're being honest. And that Zeus can really put in a shift against some of these, Lim loves 5 costs, so this can be good. Now, here we do see that 1-cost Lim. It's a great play, way better when you go first than second. But you did have that down, and we're back over to Valeri here. We're playing at a nice pace, which makes me happy. We're like 22 minutes in. We've already done 2 full games. 32 minutes, sorry. But still, 2 full games in 32 minutes. Good work, players.
Yes, a very high pace. And yeah, if you're playing LIM and you don't have the 1 cost every single game on turn 1, you're not making top cut with LIM, right? That's the ruling of it.
Very nice way to put it. We actually see a Luffy swing coming in here. So we had 2 swings. 1 of them got through, and that means we're down to 3 life. Now we're seeing a 6k leader swing from Mike. That is also going to go through. Valeri losing his first life, but does get
nice
to
trigger.
Draw.
Yes, nice trigger effect from Basil Hawkins. Draw 2, trash 1. So filtering out the hand, because the starting hand looked, or it seems that there is a lot of big cost kit in hand already. So this was a very nice trigger for him.
A really fun, silly little play here. But we saw the zero power limb in a little bit of a swing. Didn't do anything, but you have to swing so that you've then got 2 rested characters so that you can kind of get the on play with a Nell where you draw 3 trash 2, which wouldn't work if Lim wasn't rested. So you have to swing for 0 just to rest Lim down. And that's a weird thing you have to do in these Lim decks.
Yes, and now deciding on what to trash again, and seems that he doesn't value Sakazuki in this matchup.
Not come out at all yet.
Seems like he is definitely gonna trash the Sakazuki. It's just the second card that he doesn't know. I am thinking, against what is this Sakazuki very, very good, but looking at the deck list from Yellow Kit, I don't think that you play Sakazuki against almost anything. So,
KO's a rested character. Oh, sorry. KO's a character of a cost of 5 or less. So there are some targets for it, like a Basil Hawkins, for instance, you can get and things like that. But it's not giving you value like a lot of the other cards are. Certainly, think back to game 1 or 2. How often would you rather have Sakazuki over something like a Mihawk or a Nell or a Doflamingo? And I think almost never.
up to Valerie.
We've got the
5 done. Very awkward turn. 5 done for the Yellow Kit.
We get a 6k leader swing here, trying to decide if that's going to go through or whether Mike is going to counter it. Oh, we did counter it with a Nami. Now we get the Basil Hawkins coming down, which means we might start seeing the beginning of the Eustace Captain Kidd leader skill. Haven't seen it yet because it just hasn't been relevant. But now we do have a Supernova with a cost between 3 or 5 that you very much do want to establish as a blocker. Choosing not to, however, it is an optional thing, and you do have to turn the top card of your life face up, choosing to save it for a turn when it's a bit more impactful. Now we're over to Mike.
I might be wrong on it, but playing against Slim, it feels like if they don't have any rested characters, they can't win. So if I was playing the kit, I might have considered just swinging 10 onto the Anel instead of developing the Hawkins, because you will develop big bodies anyway later on in this game, and this Hawkins, I don't know, this Hawkins feels like it's not going to do that much. So I do like to swing big on their rested bodies as early on, and later on I want to play as many big bodies as I can. However, Valerie decides to go as wide as possible, I guess, and because of all the trash effects, he wants to pressure the limbs live as well.
Right now, the life is being pressured over on Valeri's side. We had a swing which did go through. We've now seen Mihawk come down. We've restood Anel. We're having another swing. But we see Capone Beige and another card coming down, countering out of that. And it seems like we've reached the end of the turn. So now we're doing all of the restanding. No blockers here, however. We haven't had those Doflamingo coming down like we did in the previous game. So Valeri is going to be able to put a bit of pressure on the life if they wish. No blockers there to put it around. Not for the minute, anyway.
He needs a 7-cost Law to heal. Otherwise, this might be a very tough game for the yellow kid side.
Don't disagree with you there. He's got enough Dom, but does he have the card in hand is the question. Is it the front? Is it the front of his hand? Right now, we're swinging with Hawkins anyway as a 5k swing. It is. It is right in the front of his hand. So it is available if he wants it. It's there. Mike goes down to 2 life. He does want it. It is there. And that means that we are going to be getting a card into life. Oh, and it is that Basil Hawkins, which has that really nice draw trigger. We now see a 6k swing with the leader. That is countered with the Doflamingo. And then we make the Basil Hawkins into a blocker and show, hang on a second. Yeah, I've got Hawkins in my life as well.
Yes. Very good card to filter. I'm pretty sure that he will use the trigger effect to draw 2 cards and trash 1, and to get rid of cards that he doesn't need. We do see a lot of defense in hand for Valerie, just not this turn because he didn't leave any Don open. But the upcoming turns, he does have two Red Hawks, it seems, a couple of 2Ks.
We do see a swing going through here, and there is that that Basil Hawkins trigger coming through. Draw 2, trash 1. We're now down to 2 life each. We're popping a Don here, and we are swinging with the Mihawk, and that is going to be blocked by Basil Hawkins, putting Mike down to 1 life because of Basil Hawkins on KO skill. Are we done? No, we're not done. We're paying 3 Don. We're using the Lim skill, and it is the Searcher Lim. We still got enough Don open that if we wanted to play something like a Mihawk to restand and swing again, we would be able to. Looks like we are eyeing up that Doflamingo blocker, however. Which,
he needs to count. He really needs to count right now. He's only at 1 life, so if an 8-cost kid comes down, you need to be able to defend the 7 and the 9 from the yellow kid side.
Our blocker would have to get one of them. That is the Doflamingo. It is being picked off of the search. Now we're popping a Don on a Nell, and we are swinging again. Trying to pressure Valeri's hand a little bit here. Has got quite a few cards in hand. So we'll be able to, if he wants to counter it, he's going to be able to.
Yes.
I think.
He does have a blocker. It seems like he has an event and 2Ks at least, so he will be able to defend. But definitely something that you have to keep in mind, that last life can be trashed by 8-cost kid, and then he has like 2 Don left, so a 7 with leader and a 9 with law.
I think we're trying to resolve the attack from Mike here. It is getting resolved by Valeri, taking a life, 1 remaining. Now it looks like we are going to be playing that Doflamingo as expected, playing it over the 1-cost Lim, which has served its purpose nicely. And now we do have a blocker established. And we've actually got a really nice offensive board for next turn, if we can survive through this turn.
We have a lot of counters. We have at least 2 2Ks. And I see one Asra, I think, and maybe even Hell's Judgment. I'm not sure if I see it correctly, but if it's Hell's Judgment and and Asra, or at least one of them, then he is in a very good spot. And the kid is only at 1 life, so
Feels like next turn's going to go really well for you. You do need to get through this turn. We did see the Luffy searching out the kid. Kid is going to be able to trash a life, though, I believe. So that is going to be a little bit of a pain. You should have the 8 Don open for the kid. So then you only need to get 1 more attack through to win the game. And then you can put the kid or the law up as a blocker going into Mike's turn. You do have a face down life. So the kid skill is on the board. Now we see a swing. We've still got 8 Don open, though, so kid is still absolutely in play. Got 6k swing for the leader to resolve first.
Ooh, and it is a Hell's Judgment that I'm seeing.
It is.
It's the alt art from PRB.
Is there an argument to just let the life get taken because you know kid can come down and take it anyway? Or do you want to force your opponent to play the kid so they don't get to do something else?
I think that Mike would be very happy if he plays Kid, because then he is tapped out at this point, and then he can go for game because he's able to defend the swings. But I do think that Valerie calculated that he might survive on the backswing from Lim, because otherwise he had to go for it with Zeus, getting rid of the Doflamingo and just splitting down on leader and law.
The fact that he didn't means there is, he's at least got some confidence that he can survive Mike's next turn. We're going to see, we got a bunch of swings. And here's the thing, there's no weak characters on Mike's side of the board. There's no big monster characters. But, the weakest thing there is like your Lim, which is a 5k. So all of those 5 characters, plus the leader, plus potential Mihawk shenanigans, they are going to be able to swing next turn. We haven't seen the 9-cost Zorro. There's 2 in the deck, but none of them have come out, so that's not going to be, time you play it and then wait a turn and use it. That's basically off the board at this point. So the question is going to be, how big and how many swings can you pull off next turn? And can Valeri actually see them off?
I do think that he will try to play defensive, playing with probably a blocker Bash, leave 2 down open for Red Hawk, and trying to survive one more turn.
We've got a swing coming in here from the law. It's a 10k swing, but it is going to be that Hell's Judgment coming down to get rid of it. 2-cost card, but it is Don -1, but you give 2 of your opponent's characters or leader -3k. It really weakens them down, and then we can combine it with a little bit of countering with our Adio, and then we are good. But we have more Don here, and we are playing that Capone Beige, which is going to be a bit of a problem because that does have that blocker keyword. That's one more attack, which is going to be a pain to get through. And we then activated the Law, so both Law and Beige here are working as blockers this turn.
And a lot of Don open for Yellow Kid, and because it's open deck list, Mike knows what he has to play around, and one of those cards is, for example, Blaze Slice. Blaze Slice making the leader a 6k leader during the turn, so Valerie might be able to survive one extra turn, and that's really scary for Mike here. So he has to calculate how he wants to split now.
So this is the point of the game where maths, let's hope you're all right at maths, because you need to be figuring out how many attacks you've got, how big you can make them, how big you need to make them given the likely defensive options your opponent has access to. And one Don in the wrong place can be the difference between winning and losing. But here we see the really long name Demon Aura, and that is resting down both of the blockers. That seems pretty big. We see a swing with the Lim here. That is going to be passed by, also resting down another Lim in the process.
That's also really good. Blaze Slice making the leader a 6k during this turn, so
that's essentially an extra 1k counter for every swing coming in from Mike. Speaking of which, we have a swing from the Mihawk. We need 2 swings to get through. We've got Mihawk, we've got Leader, we've got Anel, we've got Doflamingo. Currently resolving the Mihawk swing. We know exactly what that last card is going to be. It is going to be that X-Drake. It is going to be a 2k counter that Valeri gets access to when that card is picked up, which I think is probably going to help a bit if you're trying to survive.
Ooh, but he also has 2 Red Hawks in hand and 2 Dawn. Oh.
Red Hawk is just a 1-cost counter, 3k, very standard card. We've seen a million of them in the game, but sometimes paying 1 for a 3k counter, pretty sweet, frankly. Does choose to take the X-Drake life, but that is an extra 2k counter in hand now, which is immediately used as Anel swings. Now Doflamingo swings. We got this and the leader. The Doflamingo swing is what we're currently resolving. Valeri having a look at his hand. What has he got? Now this is where he's calculating. If I let, I've got to counter this. If I let it through, I lose the game. But just trying to think, what is the best way to get rid of this, knowing there is still a leader swing and there is open Don. So we could see an 8k leader swing coming in from Mike and Lim here.
8k is the best he can do, probably.
Yes.
So, but yeah, he does have Red Hawk, so that's enough. And he even have a second Red Hawk in hand as well, so...
We're going active. Well, we're going active as much as we can. We have one blocker on Mike's side of the board. Valeri has got a big swing coming with the law. There is also that leader swing.
Looking at Mike, I was thinking it, but I was not sure about it. But I think that Mike forgot to take a Don. And looking at Mike right now, looking at his left and taking a little smile, he might have realized that he forgot one. I don't think it would have mattered because he could have not cleared the game right now. However, it's a scary. This one extra Don might have been very, very important for him. So let's see if he can survive.
We're starting with a 7k leader swing from the kid. And now Mike just wants to have a look at the trash for Valeri. Having a look through, what have you got? Essentially, when players are doing this, it's what have you already used? I know your deck list. If I can see what's not available, then that gives me information as to what might be available. You have one blocker, you have one life, so 3 swings going through. Now, here's one of them. You've got one blocker. If a swing gets through, you lose the game. Nobody has any life remaining. You're 1 game each. We're in game 3. Here comes a swing from the law. You can block it with the Doflamingo if you want to, but that is going to be your last block for a little while, put it that way. So do you block or... Okay, we are... We've popped a Don out.
Okay, seems like the judge did realize about Don mandatory taken, so he gets the 1 Don open.
He then blocks with Doflamingo, so there's no more blockers. Whatever is there is in hand. Valeri doesn't have a good swing coming here. You've got Capone Beige and you've got Luffy, but Luffy with 8 Don is a bit of a one, and that means that unfortunately there's not enough, and Valeri and Yellow Kid are going to take it.